And we're moments away from CERRITOS College taking on Folsom Lake College in Game 2 of tonight's soccer championship. Stay tuned, everybody. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Joe Cap Realty.
welcome you back to the Ventura College Sportsplex here at Ventura College for the 3C2A Soccer Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We move to Game 2 and the women's side of the bracket for our first semifinal, pitting Folsom Lake College against Cerritos College, and this an intriguing matchup of opposites in a number of ways. First, and most substantially, the Cerritos College Falcons come in four-time defending state champions here in the 3C2A. As an enormous favorite, the number one team in the state, obviously. Meanwhile, Folsom Lake College makes their first appearance and chasing after their first ever state championship. So the first thing that separates these two teams is a measure of experience here in the state championship level. But it goes beyond that. It's an intriguing matchup of styles as well. Folsom Lake comes in a defensive team, to be sure, allowing 9 goals on the entire season. So they play a more conservative style. They'll no doubt try to take this into the later stages, keep it even as long as they can against a very powerful Cerritos College Falcon squad. In fact, to the point of Folsom Lake and the defense lately, they come in on a shutout string of over 400 minutes. 435 minutes of action since the last time the Folsom Lake College Falcons allowed a goal. Meanwhile, for the Falcons, they are much the opposite in any number of ways. Most specifically, offensively, they come in leading the state with 123 goals on the season. How good is that number of 123 goals over 5 a game? The next highest scoring team has 93 goals on the season, so they're a full 30% ahead of their next closest competitor. They're a dangerous team offensively. Left foot shot from Jaramillo on the frame, but Aubrey Hall able to bring it in. Just creeping into the second minute of action here in semifinal number 1 in the women's bracket here in the 3C2A State Championship on SoCalCollegeSports.com, brought to you today by Joe Cap Realty. Hall's kick is sent back, and Folsom Lake trying to set up. Ball lost out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Folsom Lake. This is Amber Hicks bringing it in. Trying to get on the far side, and the near side there to Mia Evans. And the ball lost out of bounds. So the Falcons will bring it in. This is Amber Whitmore with the throw-in. That one careens out of bounds, and it'll go back to Folsom Lake. Folsom Lake coming in as the number 2 seed in the northern bracket. Able to get through after wins over number 15 Mendocino, number 10 Consumnes River, and then in round 3, a victory over Santa Rosa in a game that went to penalty kicks. Megan Trent, an all-region player, one of the leaders for Folsom Lake on the pass to the far side. We'll go back to Cerritos College. Both teams the Falcons here, so it's not going to help me to say the Falcons on this one. I have to be very formal. The name of the school. So it'll be a throw-in on the far side for Dana Jacobs. It's a good idea from Proctor Silex. Ball fought for and won by Cerritos. It's Hernandez who swings it back out. Now they try to switch the attack to the far side, or the near side, I should say, but it's broken up and Folsom Lake has it back. Allie Miller in control. Challenged by Itzi Ballesteros over on the far side, and it's Ballesteros that comes up with the ball on the charge. Centering pass, nobody home. Slides through the box. Recovered by Cerritos. Jaramillo with a little move. Back to her right, now goes down. That'll bring a whistle. And foul called. Jaramillo lost to the Falcons for better than half of the season, or about half the season. She only played in 12 games, but had 16 goals in those 12 games. I'm going to say that foul took place in the box. So early on, we're going to have a penalty kick for Jaramillo. And this a dangerous moment for Folsom Lake here in the 5th minute, as it's Jaramillo who will place the ball and stare down Aubrey Hall. A kick, and it's in. So in the 5th minute, Cerritos College on the board as Jaramillo draws the foul in the box and puts Cerritos College on the board with the penalty kick. 17th goal of the season for Jaramillo. And before we can even settle in, the Falcons break the scoreless string put together by Folsom Lake, and they're on the board very quickly. And Cerritos College can hurt you in so many ways. So many players capable of creating opportunities, chief among them, Caro Jaramillo. And it was Jaramillo who made a great move, drew the foul in the box. And what Mount San Antonio College and Taft College couldn't do in a couple of hours, the Falcons take care of in about 5 minutes. Again, if you're just joining us, first semifinal on the men's side, a classic, going to penalty kicks. And the top seed in the state, Mount San Antonio College, survives against Taft College, winning it 5-4 in penalty kicks. Taft had an opportunity to kick their way into the state final. One shot on the 5th penalty kick that would have locked it up, but a miss on the penalty kick, and then the Mounties take advantage and win it in the next round, 5-4 in penalty kicks, so Mount San Antonio College survives. We will have the second men's semifinal following this game. Cerritos on another attack. That one sent back. Joe Messersmith in possession. Ball fought for, still loose. Cerritos maintains. Moving to the left, Hernandez lost the handle as Allie Miller got in there and won the ball. The turnover gives it back to Folsom Lake, and Folsom Lake, who has stood out defensively throughout this season and well into the postseason, will now have to play from behind, exactly what they didn't want. Trailing this one 1-0 early on. One-timer sent back in. Miller will let this one go. On the far side, picked up by Ballesteros. Ballesteros streaking down the far side, lost it out of bounds, back to Folsom Lake. Brummett lost the handle. Recovered momentarily by Karina Torres. But Torres sent it in, and Cerritos has it back. Long pass up ahead. Missed the mark. Recovered by Mia Evans. Evans sends it ahead. Folsom with it at midfield. Another turnover, possible counter opportunity for Cerritos. Moving in. Swung across. Jaramillo couldn't come up with it. As it's sent back out. Hernandez leaving it for Jaramillo. Falcons on the attack. Cerritos. But the pass too far in front. There'll be a goal kick coming back for Folsom Lake in the 9th minute. Cerritos comes in with a record of 21-1-1. Meanwhile, Folsom Lake arrives here today, 17-3-4. Folsom Lake, co-champions in the Big 8 in their first season in the Big 8 Conference. So, Coach Danny Roboto, this young Folsom Lake team with a breakout season here, culminating in a trip to the state championship. But their prize, if you can call it that, is a matchup with the beastly Cerrito College Falcons, 4-time defending champions here in the 3C2A. And they already lead it. Does Cerritos 1-0. Jaramillo, dogged by a couple of defenders, sends it back out. Turnover back to Folsom Lake. Natalie Fisher looking for Klinger. Lost the ball. Recovered by Torres. Folsom Lake with it at midfield. One-time pass sent in, but too strong for Ashley Villalobos. Working the near side, and it's lost out of bounds. Kiana Claypool couldn't come up with the pass. Falcons have no less than 6 forwards on their roster with double-digit goals on the season. You just have the feeling that the Falcons more or less expect that teams, you have to imagine that they expect that teams are going to play somewhat defensive against them, try to keep them off the board, and they just kind of dare you to run with them. Because any kind of chance that you take creates a counter opportunity, and they have so many playmakers to make plays. And Folsom Lake looking for the counter in transition, but the pass too strong and sent back out. Hernandez drops it on the far side. Long pass from Garcia, but Hall out to the top of the box and comes up with it. And here comes Folsom Lake. Trying to knife through traffic. And Cerritos in there to break it up. But again, the outlet pass too strong. It's a race for the ball, won by Folsom Lake. And they'll let this one go out of bounds. But it's off of Cerritos, so it's going to be a goal kick for Hall. Second men's semifinal, Oxnard and Fresno College, will be followed later tonight here on SoCalCollegeSports.com with the final women's semifinal. Diablo Valley in that one, taking on Santa Barbara College. Upstart Vaqueros, the number 14 seed in the South, with an impressive run, eliminating the 2, 3, and 6 seeds, including a huge upset over San Diego Canyon to punch their ticket here. So a couple of upstarts here on the women's side. Folsom Lake in this one, after their strong season in the Big 8. One-timer sent out, Whitmore, off to Jaramillo. Jaramillo has that one poked away. She's already announced her presence. That one stolen. O'Donnell had an opportunity but couldn't come up with it. And the Falcons will control at midfield. Velasquez over on the far side. Garcia looking to center. Sends it in. The header over the crossbar. Natalie De Leon established position, but couldn't get that one on the frame. Big foul early in the 5th minute. Jaramillo taken down in the box. She converts the penalty kick. And that's your score here in the 14th minute. Again, the kick from Hall. Cerritos able to maintain possession, but Klinger able to poke away the steal, send it back to Hall. And a loose ball on the near side. Whitmore wins the ball for Cerritos. Hernandez in the center. Drops it off. Jacobs threads one on the far side. Again, the center. Loose ball. Jaramillo left of the box. Tries to make a move. The defense solid from Fisher. She was able to knock that one away. So Jaramillo denied an opportunity. But the ball out on Fisher, so the Falcons will bring it in. It's Whitmore who will throw it in from the 6-yard line. Into the box. The ball's loose, sent out. Falcons with the opportunity. The one-timer is wide of the mark. Jaramillo. Got the toe on it, but missed the mark. That's amazing how the most prolific players just constantly seem to have the ball in position to score. To wit, Jaramillo lofts one into the back of the net. Again, Cara Jaramillo. Just talking about how she seemingly always has the ball in position to score. And they're on a terrific feed. Able to take a little something off with the left foot and drop it in the back of the net. Should correct that was waved off. I believe it was offside. So Jaramillo did get the goal, but haven't updated yet. So I believe Jaramillo was in just offsides. Well, okay. Now they have adjusted the score. I was a little bit ahead of the scoreboard here. I'm waiting for him to update the scoreboard. And so, okay. Now we have our score. So Jaramillo with 2 goals here in the first 16 minutes. And it's 2-0, Cerritos in control. Natalie Fisher with the free kick for Folsom Lake. Claypool drops it off, tries to get it back on the give and go. Centering attempt knocked out by Velasquez. Again, they try to go back to the give and go. Karina Torres sends it back out. Fisher. As Folsom Lake sets up their first concerted effort here in the offensive zone in the ballgame. Trying to split the double team, but the Cerritos College Falcons will send it back out. And again, it's Fisher who will center. Megan Trent over to the far side. Well, Folsom Lake now in an unenviable position as this one lobbed into the box, but Nichols out of goal for her first play here on the afternoon. Folsom Lake's going to have to open it up. Trailing 2-0 here at this point, one would suspect. Transition opportunity. Giving chase, it's Messersmith. She can't track it down, so it'll go back to Folsom Lake. But it's an incredibly dangerous proposition to try and open things up against Cerritos College. They can put it back in the net in a hurry, given the slightest opportunity. Centering pass sent back out. Folsom Lake with the ball. Looking for Fisher. Instead, it's Jacobs for Cerritos. Sending it in. Fisher with the steal. Folsom Lake looking for transition. Outlet pass too strong. One-timer from Nichols sent back to midfield. Ball out of bounds on the far side. Jacobs will throw it in. Long throw in. Broken up. Folsom Lake has it back. Pass attempt broken up, but Fisher has it back. Second opportunity. And here comes Folsom Lake. Working on the far side. One-timer. That one blocked out of play by Whitmore. Centering pass by Claypool, denied by Whitmore, but it will be a corner kick for Folsom Lake. Hannah O'Donnell will trigger on the near side. She has Klinger directly to her left, but she'll send it in. Top of the box. Folsom Lake can't quite corral it. Cerritos will send it out. Folsom Lake maintaining possession. Klinger, good challenge by Whitmore. And the ball sent out of play. Folsom Lake will still have it. A pair of goals by Caro Jaramillo. Jaramillo, not among the very top goal scorers in the state, but again, you make the point that she only played in 12 games. So goals per game average, it's hard to imagine that anybody had more. She already has 2 here today. Ruben Gonzalez and his Cerritos College Falcons pursuing their 5th consecutive state championship. This one sent into the corner. Jacobs able to block the centering attempt. A battle on the far side. Cerritos had it for a moment, but now lost out of bounds. Jackie Garcia trying to send that one back out. But Cerritos picks up a break there as it's off of a Folsom Lake player. They'll maintain possession. Long throw in. Recovered by Folsom Lake. Evans working at midfield. Little stutter step. Sends it in. Nobody home for Karina Torres. She was looking on the far side. Another block up front. Recovered by Paige Vernuet. Claypool goes down, no call. Cerritos has it back. Whitmore off to Villalobos. They'll try the short passing. Fisher nearly whiffed. Whitmore has it back. Ahead to Villalobos. It's a 3-on-3 for the Falcons if they hurry. Centering pass. Too strong. Hall out to the top of the box to recover. Torres tried the one-timer on the pass. Couldn't quite find the handle. Cerritos with it back. Good challenge by Torres, and she gets the steal. Torres with a little move on the far side. Lobs one forward, but too strong. Back to Cerritos as we wind into the 24th minute here in the first half. Battle for the ball on the far side, and Folsom Lake maintains for the moment, but now they lose it. Jaquez sending it back out to midfield where Folsom Lake will recover. Velasquez dribbling through traffic and a good steal. Folsom Lake looking to counter. Torres again with another good steal. She's had a couple of good steals in the last couple of minutes. Loose ball out in front at the top of the box, but Cerritos able to clear. Jaramillo on the attack. Working on Megan Trent. That's a matchup of 2 of the top players in the state here in the 3C2A. Trent, another all-region player on defense. Falcons working on the far side, and a whistle comes in. Folsom Lake gets it back. Velasquez Gets a foot in there and knocks that one out of play, but it'll stay with Folsom Lake. Well, it was a cool morning, but it's turning into a little bit warmer afternoon. That one from 30 yards out from Jaramillo. Right of the target. Falcons lead the state in goals. And to give you a sense of the offensive philosophy, in terms of shot percentage and shots on goal percentage, they're well down the list. 54th, 57th in the state. So it's easy to surmise that the Falcons, very aggressive offensively, like to get a lot of shots moving toward the goal if they can. Try to overwhelm you with volume. And guess what? So far it's working. Pass left on the far side. Long centering attempt. Villalobos was there. But it's sent out by Folsom Lake. Slide tackle on the far side, and the ball will stay with Cerritos. Talked about Folsom Lake's run. Falcons, the top seed in the South. Opened up against Mount San Jacinto. And a 3-1 victory in that one. In round 2, they drew number 8 Moore Park. And that was a battle. It was 2-2 heading into extra time at the end of the first half. But a goal in extra time by Villalobos gave him a 3-2 lead at the half, gave Cerritos a 3-2 lead at the half. And from there, Cerritos took over in the second half, getting 3 more goals en route to a 6-3 win. And finally, in round 3, Cerritos was again challenged, this time going all the way to penalty kicks, before they were able to slip past San Bernardino Valley College. If Folsom Lake wants to get that far, they're going to have to get something going. Trailing this one 2-0. Velasquez battling on the near side, still has the ball. It's a good little move. Let's correct that very quickly. That was Jill Messersmith working. And a whistle. And a free kick coming for Cerritos. Just on the Cerritos side of midfield. Jacobs will back up and take this one. Curves it, but sent back out. A battle for the ball. Folsom Lake's got it. Claypool pops it over to Torres. On the give and go, Claypool coming in, but Nichols able to come out and send that one away. See Folsom Lake a couple of times already, nearly getting the give and go to work for him. Claypool had a lane. That's a good alert play by Nichols, a returning sophomore, in goal for Cerritos, coming out before Claypool had an opportunity. '29th minute. And a stoppage in play. And we'll have another substitution on the Cerritos side. Already seen De Leon replacing Villalobos. Maria Hernandez back in the game as well. For Cerritos, dressed in the blue jerseys. Folsom Lake in white. Loose ball out in front. Tracked down. Folsom Lake's got it. Sent forward by Evans. Recovered by Claypool, the centering pass. Stolen. Cerritos coming back the other way. A battle at midfield. O'Donnell drops it in the middle. Opportunity developing as Torres stares it down, looking for Claypool. Claypool trying to track down the pass. And instead it's Whitmore who runs it out of bounds. And Folsom Lake will have a throw in just outside the 12-yard line. Instead, O'Donnell will come out for a substitution. So this will take a little more time. So O'Donnell had to go all the way across the field. And checking in for Folsom Lake, it's Laylee Gods. Gods triggers it in, gets it back, centers, broken up easily by Cerritos, and sent back out. Messersmith able to get about 60 yards on that boot, completely reversed the field, so Folsom Lake will have to start over. Verneuil on the attack. Sends it to the far side. Claypool one-times it back out. This one out of play. It'll belong to Cerritos. Villalobos going to leave it. Whitmore will bring it in. Well, Folsom Lake had a couple of opportunities, but so far haven't been able to convert one of those opportunities into a direct shot on Ruby Nichols. And at this point, I think if you're Folsom Lake, would love to get one on the board first. See if you could pull the massive comeback here. But as always, with a team like Cerritos College averaging over 5 goals a game on the season, you have to be concerned about their ability at any moment to put one in the back of the net. Corner kick coming to that point. We'll see if we get a set piece here from Cerritos. Jackie Garcia will bring it in. Drops it short. Right of the box, Jaramillo lost the handle. Folsom Lake going to send it back out. And they'll look for a transition opportunity. Gods sends it in, but Claypool can't find the handle. And instead it's Nichols who will left foot it back out. Jaramillo in control. Guarded closely by Gods, and it's Gods who sends that out of play. Well, it's hard to say that Folsom Lake has had a lot of success against Jaramillo when she has 2 goals on the board, but in the last 15 or 20 minutes on the game clock, they've been able to steal the ball a couple of times from Caro and have done a better job of keeping her out of scoring opportunities, but the damage already been done by Jaramillo with a couple of goals on the board. Fisher working back right. Drops it over for Gods. Gods angling left. Gets past Velasquez. Gods on the attack. Tries to drop one into the box. But again, the pass too strong. Looking for Brummett. And instead it goes back to Cerritos. Here in the 34th minute as we're joined by the Mike Zepeda. And Michael, Cerritos College has advertised here so far in the first half.
Yeah, Carolina Jaramillo, pretty good.
Yeah. The what we learned about Caro Jaramillo after this semester, an intention on her part to turn pro. And, I'm no expert, but she looks ready. She certainly seems to be having her way out here today. Another big performance in the first half, keying this Cerritos attack en route to a 2-0 lead. It's Cerritos in control on the far side. De Leon tried to center. Evans able to send it back out. And Folsom Lake content just to set their defense here as Cerritos will have a throw in.
Now, Jaramillo back from last year, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Very impressive last year up at De Anza. And
Yep.
if memory serves, I believe she played hurt in the final. She gone down with a knee injury in the semifinal, which we had for you.
Yeah, Cerritos really dominated the action to my memory last year. I know they had a very impressive semifinal win on Friday, and then in the final, I want to say they won 3-1 or 4-1, something like that. They were in control throughout, and they're a long way toward doing that here in the 35th minute as they already lead 2-0. Folsom Lake
Good touch.
getting things going on the touch pass into Cerritos territory. Velasquez able to win the ball for Cerritos. They'll come back the other way. It looks to me, I think, Folsom Lake, obviously the first half hasn't gone as they would have drawn it up, but you have to be impressed with the fundamental play. Not a lot of turnovers in their zone. It was a great play by Jaramillo that really keyed the first goal, just a great individual effort drawing the foul in the box. And I think right now it's just Cerritos doing a good job on the attack, but it's not as though Folsom Lake, to my eye, has hurt themselves a lot with mistakes in their own zone. Jaramillo on the attack. Fisher gets a foot in and pokes it away.
Yeah, I think at this point it's safe to say they're not necessarily beating themselves. They're getting beat by a pretty good team.
Yeah. Brummett tries to drop it in the box. Claypool not there. Sent back out, and the Falcons have it. Here's Jaramillo. Jaramillo drives one into Folsom Lake territory. A little move. No foul coming.
Very
As
close.
Ballesteros working back to her right went down, but no call coming.
I think at this point, if it's 50-50, and I would definitely say it wasn't necessarily even close to being 50-50 in terms of a foul in the box, but, referees understand context too.
Yep.
Folsom Lake really has their work cut out for them. I don't see Cerritos getting that call unless it's obviously blatant, which in that case I think was very two-way.
Yeah, I think that was a good no call, and you go back to the foul on Jaramillo, and I think it was a fairly clear call taken down from behind on the move. So I think they've gotten it right both times. That one sent into the box and sent back out. So whistle on the kick, and this will go back to Folsom Lake here in the 37th minute. Evans back to Hall. Talked about how good Folsom Lake has been on defense coming into this matchup. Like on a streak of 435 minutes coming into this game without allowing a goal. And Cerritos on the board in the 5th minute. It's amazing, the level of play and what you're dealing with here. And it's a completely different situation as Velasquez stops the ball on the near side. Double team comes as she sends it back out to Jaramillo, working on Fisher. Hard drive left. The centering shot is on the frame, and Hall is there.
If memory serves, Jaramillo had a corner kick for a goal last year in the semis.
And I remember another game that we did, and I don't remember if it was, I think it was a regular season game that we did, but I want to say that she might have been the one that sent one in from about 35 yards out. I mean,
she's a total package.
Yeah, I mean, it's, when you can put one on that kind of accuracy and that kind of strength. Meanwhile, transition opportunity. Broken up.
I think I made the point last year. She reminds me a lot of Rivaldo, a famous Brazilian player from many years ago. Just the entire package. She just can handle it, can do it all. Great handle, good foot.
Is Rivaldo from the 80s?
No.
Because I have to remind you, buddy, I make the 80s references here. So.
Sorry, well, I was making a late 90s reference.
All right, that's okay. That's okay.
It was right after Bebeto and Romario. Anybody watching who remembers that?
Jaramillo. Again, dogged by Fisher. And Fisher's done a pretty good job lately. Takes her down there. It's going to be a free kick coming.
Yeah, with a player like Jaramillo, you have to be aggressive and you have to be physical. You have to take her out of what she wants to do, and the way you do that is, I wouldn't necessarily say dirty play, but you definitely have to be assertive in your defensive approach.
Yeah, I think, against that, and you see that in any number of sports where if you're giving away a measure in terms of talent, let's say, one way you can kind of even that up in any sport is to try and make it physical, take it out of that, not give as much room to do things. And, in a sense, sometimes that ends up looking like dirty play, and it can be very easily, but oftentimes it's just a means of leveling the playing field as well. When the more room you give her, the worse it's going to be for you. I think it's safe to say.
I think it's very safe to say.
So Hall sends it out. As Cerritos shows some pressure here in the backfield.
And we definitely want to make it known that, this game is worldwide, everybody. If you have any friends and family abroad, unable to make the contest today in person up at Ventura College, feel free to let them know. Send them a text, SoCalCollegeSports.com. You can go to our website. We have 4 embedded players up there. Right now, we are broadcasting live from the VC Sports Complex on the campus of Ventura College.
Yeah, we'll be here all day. De Leon, off the back foot, centers it. Folsom Lake able to send it back out. Made the point. You see the aggressiveness of Cerritos. I made the point earlier that Cerritos leading the state, big surprise, in goals. But interestingly, in terms of shot percentage,
Did
shots
you say
on goal,
123 for the year?
123 goals. The next closest team, 93.
Hey, I was listening.
Well, I appreciate that. Got to support the broadcast. So that one will go back to Folsom Lake. But I made the point that it's a very aggressive offensive philosophy as measured by the fact that they're nowhere near the top in terms of shots on goal percentage, shot percentage. Typically very aggressive, and they'll just move in as fast as they can and get as many shots on goal as they can. On the thinking that the more shots you put on goal, more likely something's going to go in. You know what that is? That's the Phil Esposito school of hockey. That's more of a 70s reference, but it's true. Phil Esposito, a big proponent.
Some direct correlation between hockey and soccer.
Of getting shots on goal first and foremost.
One's on ice, the other one's on turf or field turf.
They both have goals. Claypool sends one bouncing toward the goal, and Nichols with the easy scoop.
That's true.
We'll
And Jeff,
send it back out.
And one thing I did want to make mention of, one of the cool things with YouTube and broadcasting, using that as our broadcast vehicle, you can watch this on a set-top box. So if you have an Xbox One or if you have an Apple TV, go to the YouTube app and search SoCal College Sports 1, and that'll bring up our channel. And what'll pop up is whatever's going live, that will pop up. You can click on that, and you can catch this broadcast live on your big screen TV. And if you're on an Xbox One, that's upscaled to 1080p, so you can get a pretty good picture on that one. You don't have to be in.
I want an Xbox One.
Don't you have an Xbox?
On the attack. I'm afraid as Patty Navarro loses it out of bounds back to Cerritos. You know my problem is I'm afraid that if I get hooked on those games, I'll never leave the house. So
I have the similar fear.
I have to be very careful.
It's not really a fear. It's a statement of fact.
It's a fact. Whitmore on the throw-in.
Let's go for a little My Cousin Vinny there.
Yeah, I've seen it happen to other people. I gotta learn by watching here. So I have to be very careful.
But and not that it's terribly bad for you. It's good for hand-eye coordination. Everything in moderation.
Yeah. No, that's true. This is what we're talking about here. The fear is that there won't be moderation. Short passing on the inside. Cerritos on the attack. Pass fanned out to the far side. It's Folsom Lake that will run it down as Carroll will let it go out of play, and it'll go back to Folsom Lake. We're into the 44th minute.
This can be a corner kick.
Are they going to say that went off of Carroll?
Yeah.
Couldn't chase that one down. All right, so on the far side, an opportunity here for a set piece for Cerritos. Leading this one 2-0. We're in the 44th minute. Sent into the box. Loose ball in front. Cerritos corrals. Sent out on the far side. Messersmith, the one-timer, is up over the crossbar. So Cerritos unable to convert on the offensive opportunity. I don't recall too many stoppages in play here in the first half. Do you, Proctor? I don't think we're going to have a lot of time in terms of extra time here at the end of the first half. Looking for the transition opportunity. Claypool giving chase, but Nichols up with it. And now we are into extra time. Klinger can't find the header. Trent sends it back out. Jaramillo on the far side. Near steal for Folsom Lake. Cerritos sending it back in. Villalobos couldn't come up with that. Trent drops it. Claypool sends it back outside. Gods can't find the handle. Jacobs will handle the throw in. Out to midfield. Ball fought for. Won by Cerritos. Perhaps time for one more attack. De Leon trying to get the handle in a crowd. Ball still loose. Sent back out, and Folsom Lake will clear. Villalobos backs it up. Fans it out. Drops it inside. Falcons into the box. Loose ball again, and again Folsom Lake fights out of it and clears it away. Jacobs one times it back in. Evans right back out. No numbers for Folsom Lake. Trying to get a counter going, but 4 blue jerseys back and nothing doing. This one's sent down the far side. Again, Carroll giving chase and lets this one go out of play. Now wait before I make the call here. Yes, it's going to be a goal kick. And that'll do it. First half in the books, and Cerritos College in command. They lead it 2-0 over Folsom Lake. You are watching the 3C2A Soccer Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, brought to you today by Joe Cap Real Estate. Set to go in the second half. And a 2-0 lead for Cerritos over Folsom Lake. Cerritos in the blue jerseys will work it from left to right here in the second half. And they'll try to put this one away, secure their spot in the state championship game, 2 o'clock on Sunday. And we'll have that here for you on SoCalCollegeSports.com. We will have every minute of action here in the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championships from Ventura, right here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. They'll play it in. Jaramillo, a hard drive, moves to her left, tries to swing it outside to De Leon. De Leon in a crowd. Back to Jaramillo. Jaramillo streaking down the far side, tries to center. Gets it in on one hop. Trent deflects it out of play, so we'll have a corner kick. As Trent can't quite handle the ball off the foot of Jaramillo. And Cerritos will set up. Think about the Falcons' run. They have scored early in the first 15 minutes in all 3 of their postseason games. Make it 4 with this one here. Lobbed into the box, the header wide of the mark. And that's just part of the MO for the Falcons, and no doubt their opponents want to take it deeper into the match in a tie game, but Cerritos makes that so tough to do. Ball on the near side and out of play. Back to Cerritos, and Nichols will bring it in. And we're back with Michael. As this one's sent back out, Torres tries to center, but back out to Evans. Evans will send it in again. Claypool hit as the ball arrived, and that one sent out of play back to Cerritos.
Well, exciting weekend of action here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Today it's 4. It's a quadruple header of soccer. Tomorrow it's a, how would you say 6?
I believe it's a sextuple header.
Sextuple header.
I believe.
Of women's volleyball. And then we're in two spots on Sunday. We're here for the finals for both the men's and the women's. The men's at 10 a.m., the women's at 2 p.m., and then the women's volleyball final at 2 p.m. at LA Pierce.
That's just a garden variety triple header. It's not it'll be very exciting. That's going to be an exciting day of coverage, but not terribly exotic, I think, with just the 3 games. Ball fought for at midfield, sent back in. Jacobs on the header. Back out.
Is the 6 games? No, we've had more than that. Cerritos Water Polo Tournament. 8 in one day.
Is that right? Did we get 8 games? 16 teams? That wow.
No, it was 8 teams.
Oh right, and then they all play twice. That's right. Well, you know, it's not as much work when you're out there by the pool, you know.
Just as much work.
It had the appearance of being relaxing. We weren't allowed to go in the pool though. They wouldn't let us in there.
See, you know what? If we could work that in,
there should have been a long enough break in between games for us to have a swim. Let's get in there.
Yeah, I could have burned some calories for sure.
Folsom Lake going to bring it in on the far side. Pass too high, and Cerritos sends it back out.
Well, let's talk about the slate coming up. Scheduled for 4 p.m. start time, although that time is subject to change. I'll have a definitive answer for you later from George Matagakis. He should be able to clue me in as to what the start time will be for game number 3 today.
Can we call George the czar of CCCAA championship events?
I don't know.
I don't know if George would really want that, but I feel like George is getting close to czar status. He's got the full control.
He really does. He's the man.
He puts together a good event.
He really does. I don't know. He's Greek. The
Sent into the box and back out. And Cerritos with it. Jill Messersmith. 1 times it ahead. Ballesteros.
Offside.
In offsides. She had gotten behind Fisher on that pass. Fisher sends it over to Torres. And Torres, one of 2 all-region players, as judged by the California Community College Soccer Coaches Association. Torres along with Megan Trent.
You know, it's funny you bring up the word czar. I just got done watching like a documentary on the Romanov family for Russia. After watching that, I got a feeling nobody wants to be a czar.
George would be like the newer, gentler brand of czar. Dropped on the near side. Johnson tried to center. Nichols over to scoop it up.
Yeah, she had a chance on that one. She had a wide open Keona Claypool. Just couldn't get enough of the boot on it. Put it in position.
Headed out of play by Klinger. And Cerritos will keep it. You know, Cerritos is, in control of the action here. And obviously, I think in a position where they want to be, but it's still only a 2-0 game. So I think there's still a little bit of pressure on Cerritos to try to find a way to maybe put one more in and really salt this one away. I think you're at a point here where it's still anything can happen. Meanwhile, Jaramillo goes down hard, and she's still on the turf. So they'll take a look at Caro.
That was a late.
And I think if just to finish the point, I think if you're Folsom Lake here, I think what you're hoping is that maybe Folsom Lake is finding their bearings in this matchup and settling in on the defensive end a little bit better, and then you never know, a counter may happen, an opportunity may come out of nowhere, and you can put one in, and then now you're talking about a 1-goal game. So still an issue to be decided here, I think, in a 2-0 game as they continue to look at Jaramillo. Let's take a quick break here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. It's the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championships. Free kick coming for Cerritos after the foul on Jaramillo. This one lobbed on the net, just over the crossbar. Very nearly put that one in from about 35 yards out. But the missed shot brings it back to Folsom. A battle on the far side. Still loose. And out of play. Who will it belong to? It's going to belong to Folsom Lake. Whitmore sends it back. O'Donnell off of Whitmore. Still with Folsom Lake. Yeah, I think that one of the things that strikes me in this matchup, Michael, is that there's been a couple of opportunities in transition for Folsom Lake in this one, but they really haven't been able to get a good hard shot on goal. They haven't been able to convert that into an opportunity, and I think that speaks to the closing distance and the athleticism of Cerritos College, the way they're able to make up ground and shut down opportunities, even when for the briefest moment it seems like it might be there.
Yeah, their ability to recover, and instinctually, defensively, they're very, very good, and when they get to the ball first, even when they get there late, they're controlling the ball. And this has been a pretty dominating performance throughout by Cerritos.
Jacobs gets it back.
Helps when you have a player turning pro next year.
Doesn't hurt. Garcia off of Torres. The ball still loose. Recovered by Trent. She fans it out near side. And the one-timer cleared out and back to Cerritos. We're in the 55th minute.
Fresno and the defending state champion Oxnard College Condors coming up after this semifinal number 2 for the men, and that should be a doozy of a battle.
Yeah, Oxnard, after the storybook run last year, to, if memory serves, their first state championship, and they're right back. So establishing perhaps a new dynasty. We saw, one of the dynasties, the existing dynasties of the moment in Mount San Antonio College, and they were taken to the hilt by Taft College before escaping in penalty kicks. But Oxnard, I think, trying to carve out their own reputation and doing a good job as the defending state champs.
They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, Taft just that close for those who might just be joining us. They led it.
Incredible game. Yeah,
they led it by 1 in penalty kicks. They had an opportunity on their final penalty kick to salt it away and win the penalty kicks 5-4, but a miss on that 5th penalty kick left it tied at 4, and then Mount San Antonio College closed the door on the next round, winning it 5-4 in penalty kicks.
It doesn't get as dramatic as that. I mean, that's high drama right there.
Whitmore with the running start, launches it in over everybody. Hall up with it, swinging it out to Fisher. Fisher drops it to Trent, and Trent again boots it out of play. And it's hard to know if Trent is maybe just missing on that kick or if she is intentionally sending that out of play to reset the defense.
And remember, everybody, you can go ahead and watch this game later on. We're going to post this to our archive. We have an archive section of our website that we're starting to put under construction here, and soccer finals will be up there later this week. For the next few days, it will be on the home page, but it will be transitioned over to the archive part of our page. And you can watch this game after the fact. You don't necessarily have to be here live, although we do thank you for being here live. But if for some reason you have to get going, you want to see a re-airing of this, so to speak, it's always available to you and at your disposal. So one of the good things about YouTube and allowing us to do that is always have an archived copy of the game.
Yeah, right there on YouTube as well. So
if you'd like a hard copy, we'd have no problem burning one for you. You can reach out to us at SoCalCollegeSports at Hotmail or gmail.com.
The throw for De Leon, too strong. Johnson had an opportunity but mishandles, and Jaquez sends this one out of play. Folsom Lake trying to get something going, and it's sent back out. Klinger recovers. Torres from about 25 yards out, shot on net, and Nichols able to come up with it.
Well, Jeff, you talked about getting something behind one. We see it right there. It's a pretty good shot on goal there from Torres.
And I think finally Torres in that instance elected, I think, just to take an opportunity. That's from pretty well out, so Nichols was able to make a fairly routine save, but at least they got something going on the net. You never know what might happen. A couple of passes, I think, when they're trying to get a little better look is where it's gotten away, and that's where the Falcons have recovered. CERRITOS, I should say. Been able to take control and get the ball back. Meanwhile, Jacobs will have a free kick. Jacobs sends it into the box. Sent back out. CERRITOS back with it. Garcia. One-timer. Heading up over the crossbar. I can't tell if the field goal was good.
I think it was.
On the goalpost behind
that was a tough angle, but she got it through.
Garcia.
Unfortunately, it's not 3 on the board for CERRITOS.
I'll tell you, there's a couple opportunities here, I think, for what's the move? Is it Wildcats with the with the girl kicker?
No, that's Necessary Roughness.
Necessary Roughness has the girl kicker. All right. Wildcats is Goldie Hawn. She's the coach. That's a girl coach.
Yeah, Necessary Roughness is Kathy Ireland as the kicker.
All right, so we're ready to go. It'll be Hall on the kick, on the goal kick. Johnson trying to control. CERRITOS with the steal. Velasquez one-times it back in. Fisher battling by Esteros. CERRITOS with it.
Uh-oh.
Pass dropped off by Hernandez. Opportunity for Jaramillo, who's returned, and her shot too strong. Up over the crossbar. So Jaramillo, who a few minutes ago just hobbled off the field, but she's back.
It's nice being 19, 20 years old.
As we often say. 18, 19 years old. It's it's amazing what you can do. Trent sends it forward. Miller trying to tiptoe the near side, and she loses it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Cerritos in the 61st minute. Velasquez slides it across. Fisher off to Johnson. Johnson can't quite control. Lob pass sent in. Ballesteros trying to split the double team.
Nice.
She has it. One hopper just outside the box. A fight for the ball as De Leon tries to maintain possession. Hernandez tries to chip one in front of the net. Jaramillo gets around but can't find the handle. Boy, Jaramillo almost had the hat trick. It's a terrific pass from Hernandez, chipping one behind the defense, and Jaramillo.
What's proper fan etiquette? Do they throw hats onto the field on the third goal?
On the hat trick?
Like they do in hockey? Probably not.
I really don't know if the octopus will work in this particular environment. I'm not really sure. It seems kind of cruel to the octopus.
It's true. Well, I mean, it seems cruel either way. But, I mean, I'm sure somebody would probably pick it up and eat it.
Well, it's not cruel to a hat.
My dad would love it.
One-timer out front again over the crossbar. Ballesteros gets the right leg into one.
You know, it's funny. Every time I ask my dad something, you know, something about food, be like, "Hey, Dad, you ever tried iguana before?" And his usual answer is, "Yeah, it's good eating."
That's a Jorge easy man to please. Pass intercepted by Hernandez. The centering pass broken up. Folsom Lake with it back. Johnson centers. Miller has it poked away by Hernandez. Folsom Lake recovering. Klinger drops it for Miller. Tries to seal off a defender. Instead, it goes back to Cerritos, and now we have a whistle. Messersmith looks like she was held. So Cerritos will have the free kick. Game 2 of 4 here today on SoCalCollegeSports.com. You can see every minute the 3C2A Soccer Championships right here. Jacobs Rainbows headed back out. Miller trying to find the handle.
Well, we talked about game number 3 coming up after this. It's going to be Oxnard, the defending state champ for the men, and Fresno City. Game 4 tonight will be Diablo Valley and Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and Santa Barbara with a somewhat improbable run, starting out as the 14 seed. Centering pass. Miller let it go over to the far side. And Cerritos able to just clear it away. Jackie Jaquez sends it out of play. Thrown in quickly. Ball lost out of bounds, back to Cerritos. Yeah, talked to Coach John Sisterson and his Santa Barbara squad, and I think they come in here obviously you know, on a run that to the outside looked somewhat improbable, but as John Sisterson talked, I think he had said that you know, had a couple of games where the ball just bounced kind of funny, maybe a couple of games where they got a little bit unlucky this year and dropped them down in terms of seeding, but that the feeling on their team, they're a very confident bunch and a team that always felt that this was something that they could make happen. So they come in here a very confident bunch, just 2 wins away, knowing it won't be easy, but nonetheless here to win. So we'll see them in action, taking on Diablo Valley, the 1 seed from the north.
Oh, Coach Sisterson. Well, what's one of the adages we like to use? Chance favors the prepared mind. Coach Sisterson does a good job of preparing his team, and I think that applies.
We just don't like to say where we got that.
No, we don't.
But we do like the phrase. Jaramillo tried to chip one in. Ballesteros was there, but Hall all the way out, 30 yards out, clears it away.
He doesn't get lobbed in.
Messersmith on the far side, centering pass, nobody home. The clear out is set in by Ballesteros. It was off the crossbar.
Hall with save. She got a hand on it.
See if we can get this one on the replay here. You see this, it's a header that Ballesteros, an alert play. Able to block that one. And a little help from the crossbar. Hall and the crossbar combining on the stop, I should say. A battle on the far side, and Folsom Lake able to just clear it out. Johnson trying to track it down, but instead it's Cerritos. And they'll send it all the way back to Nichols.
See, that's one of those bounces we were talking about with Santa Barbara. Had that been Santa Barbara, that would have gone in.
Yeah. Well, according to Coach John Sisterson, it wouldn't have gone in earlier this year. But perhaps in the latter stages of the season, it would have gone in.
It's better to be lucky than good. It's also good to be both.
Yeah. That never hurts.
No.
Substitution coming on the Folsom Lake side as they'll throw it in. Drop this one short.
Today's broadcast being brought to you in part by Joe Cap Realty.
Also brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the 3C2A Soccer Championships. Sent out of play once again. Brummett looking to bring it in. Wants Fisher. De Leon goes for the steal, comes up empty. We'll send this one over, and Ballesteros has the steal. Cerritos will look for transition. Ballesteros with a little move. Has De Leon on the right. De Leon trying to center back to Ballesteros on the give and go, but the defense is there. So Folsom Lake thwarts the attack, but not entirely. Messersmith battling and maintains the ball. Velasquez will chip it back out. Cerritos going to reset. Garcia streaking up the near side. Looking for a cutter. The center, one-timer, blocked out front, and Hall with the diving stop. So Hall able to freeze the ball.
Jeff, I got to tell you, it might very well be a losing effort here for Folsom Lake, but I'm very impressed with Hall in goal. She's been pretty good.
Yeah, and makes a heck of a save just a couple of minutes ago. And there, alertly, making the stop. She's had a fantastic season. This is a Folsom Lake squad, as we said at the top, that's only allowed 9 goals on the year. So they're a tremendous defensive club. And indeed, statistically speaking, holding Cerritos to 2 goals is an above-average performance. So even to this point, Folsom Lake has acquitted themselves on the defensive end. Question now, can they make something happen offensively to try and pull the comeback? But Cerritos, a great team in both directions, really, and they're showing that here today.
125 goals now after the 2 today on the season for Cerritos. So, I mean, the fact that you're only holding this team, who average 5 a game, to just 2, and we're approaching the 70-minute mark here in semifinal number 1 for the women. It's an impressive feat. I mean, you have to get something going on offense, but, hey, credit to both defenses really doing the job.
Well, and one of the things that we talked about is, with this many offensive weapons, it's so chancy to try and really make something happen on offense. And it allows, I think it gives the Falcons, Cerritos, I should say, a great advantage defensively. That I think it's very hard to commit to real offensive opportunities when it can so quickly come back the other way.
Yeah, you think they're tough to deal with on the offensive when they're trying to go into formation. Imagine dealing with them on a counter.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so if you don't keep everybody packed in defensively, they become that much more dangerous. This one cleared out to midfield. A little trouble in the backfield. And a transition opportunity. Miller nearly had it, trying to win it back, but it's back to Cerritos. Hernandez, chased by Miller. Drops it off. Velasquez. De Leon. Quick pass back to Hernandez. Now they'll try to switch the attack to the far side. Jaramillo trying to drop a pass for De Leon. Evans over to cut it off and loses it out of bounds, and Cerritos will have it on a throw-in. Well, no, I think they're going to give this one to Folsom Lake, so they're going to say it's off of Cerritos. Okay, so it's a free kick coming back for Folsom Lake. This one's centered. Trent drops the pass off. Folsom Lake will try to set up. Carroll trying to make a move. Has it stolen by Ballesteros, but able to win it back. Messersmith with the one-timer. De Leon trying to fan it out, cleared away. Folsom Lake looking for transition. Chipped outside by Claypool. Fisher able to corral. Trent working from the center, lost the handle. Messersmith trying to thread a pass, wanted Ballesteros. Broken up. Saved by Trent. Trent tries to send it forward, but sent right back out by CERRITOS. And now CERRITOS has the ball. Chipped in by Messersmith, too high. So Folsom Lake working in their own end, can't get it out. Here comes CERRITOS on the attack, centering past De Leon is broken up, sent back out. Miller in traffic, angles right, tries to boot one in, but it's blocked. Jacobs leans into one, going for Ballesteros on the near side. Ballesteros with a little move. Working left, finds Garcia. Garcia on the move. Centering pass, the header sent back out by Folsom Lake, so CERRITOS unable to produce a shot on the net. In the 73rd minute now. CERRITOS with goals early on in this one in the 5th. I believe, if memory serves, in the 15th minute. 2 goals in the first 15. In any event, 2 goals early. And from that point on, CERRITOS has maintained their edge. Yeah, just into the 16th minute, technically. But 2 early goals for CERRITOS, and that's where we stand. And Folsom Lake has steadied themselves defensively, but have been unable to really mount an offense against CERRITOS. Having to work against the likes of Jaramillo, Itzi Ballesteros, a cast of players making contributions here for CERRITOS today.
Is this CERRITOS college team? Are they like Manny Pacquiao of the women's soccer world? Like, you can never prepare for them out of the gate. First 2 rounds are very, very tough to adjust to, but
yeah, they're it is hard to really get yourself ready for probably the speed and precision that you're going to see against the top team. I like it, and I think that Folsom Lake has done a great job of righting the ship and playing on more even terms as this has gone on, but they have not been able to pull the full Juan Manuel Marquez here today. Not so far, at least. You knew if you were going to make the cross-sport comparison, I'd have to stay with you. I'd have to join you on it.
I know exactly where you're going with.
And continue the analogy.
Well, the only knockout in that series scored by Marquez.
Yeah, that's true. Folsom Lake on the attack, dropped into Miller. Miller with the shot, and it's a goal! Folsom Lake within 1. 75th minute, and we will dial up the replay. A terrific pass. And Miller does the rest. So the score now 2-1, and this is what we talked about at the start of the second half.
2-1.
Yeah, when we said at the start of the second half that in a 2-0 game, you know, it's Cerritos was in control and really controlling the action, but it can be a funny game. The ball can bounce in a funny way. And one goal, now it's a situation where this is anybody's ball game. I mean, one more goal, and we got ourselves a brand new game. So, and Folsom Lake has to be feeling a strong measure of confidence now as the defense has gotten better. And they've managed to steady the ship there. And now, thanks to Allie Miller, on the board, and it's a 2-1 game. And, Mike, I think I have to make the point, though, that this is where you imagine a team like Cerritos gets even more dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the slightest loss of focus, one opportunity for a counter, and you got any number of players out there, not the least of which is Jaramillo, who can make something happen in a hurry. So Folsom Lake back where they want to be. They're back in this ballgame with one goal, the difference. But now, perhaps more than ever, the focus has to be at the highest level.
And another point to consider, if you're Folsom Lake, you have to think about opening it up to try and score within the next 14 minutes.
Yep.
We're in the 77th minute right now, but you know, if when you open up the floodgates offensively, that will leave yourself open to potential counterattacks from the Cerritos side. So we could see the score inflate on either side here going forward.
You figure there's a little bit of extra time. We've had a couple of stoppages, but, no more than a couple minutes, I would think. So it is very late as we work here in the 77th minute. But I think there's a decided change in the energy level for Folsom Lake, and I think it's palpable in this one as well. A counter opportunity developing, trying to thread one to Jaramillo, and instead it's sent out, and it'll be a throw-in for Cerritos. Garcia will handle the throw-in. Drops it near the end line. Good defense coming in. Folsom Lake, and it's sent back out. Velasquez in control, over to Hernandez. Hernandez from 25 yards out. Fires left of the mark. So a goal kick coming. Should be a goal kick for Aubrey Hall. Well, they're going to say it's a corner kick. I thought that was off of Hernandez, but...
Doesn't matter what we think.
No, it does not. So Garcia will handle the corner kick. The approach. Into the box. Shot on goal. Hall with a diving attempt, and it's cleared out.
Wow!
What a save by Aubrey Hall with a little help out front. And it's still 2-1. Now a steal by Folsom Lake. Transition opportunity perhaps. Out to midfield. A 3-on-3 developing. On the far side. Miller in the center. The shot blocked by Nichols. It's loose in front. Miller coming on, but Nichols able to scoop it up.
Good two-way action here. Well, hey, we made the boxing reference earlier. Pretty good two-way action in the fight we referenced earlier.
Yep.
And now a late surge by Folsom Lake, and they're trying to tie it up to force extra time.
Paige Vernale with the shot, and Nichols does a good job of knocking it down. So we'll have a throw-in for Cerritos moving into the 80th minute. Ballesteros heads it back. De Leon battling, gets it to Hernandez. Jaramillo, a hard drive to the right, drops a pass for De Leon. Wanted to go back to Jaramillo on the give and go. Hall well out at the top of the box. Gets a leg into this one. Jacob sends it back. Jaramillo guarded closely. Ball fought for and won by Cerritos. One-timer back in. Messersmith can't find the handle. Fisher on the hop, out to midfield. Over to the near side. Ballesteros has it poked away by Klinger. Cerritos will have the throw-in. Jacobs handles the throw in. Ballesteros tried to chip it back. Messersmith can't find the handle. Jaramillo at midfield. On the run. Hernandez faces up, far side. Centering pass, De Leon, left of the box, chips it back out. Messersmith with the left foot tries to hook it in and misses wide of the mark. So Messersmith with the strong move back to her left, but couldn't curve it in, and it remains 2-1. Allie Miller with a goal here in the second half. And we've got drama in the 82nd minute. Jaramillo brings the double team on the far side. Folsom Lake still in possession. Into the center. Klinger. A little move to the right. Hernandez with the slide tackle. Wins the ball. Check that, that's Messersmith. Chipping it outside. Jaramillo. Chips it into the zone. And Folsom Lake will get it back. Centering pass, stolen by Messersmith. Messersmith looking to center. Makes a little move, chips it in. Ballesteros can't find the handle. Back outside, Cerritos keeps the pressure on here in the 83rd minute. Chipped in once again, De Leon on the hop, and she puts it in. The centering pass, and De Leon able to find the handle, chip it in on the hop, and Cerritos back out in front 3-1. Not yet. Well, it's what we talked about moments ago. Getting back in the game against Cerritos is so very difficult when they maintain so much danger, when they represent so much danger offensively at all times. And they were able to increase the pressure, keep the ball in the Folsom Lake zone, and eventually De Leon on a one-hopper, able to put it in. Centering pass knocked out of play. We'll have a corner kick as Velasquez knocked it out of play. For De Leon, that's her 19th goal on the season. Second on the team. And she was able to find her way out front. Point blank shot. Corner kick coming at the far post. Nobody home. An opportunity for Folsom Lake. Nichols couldn't quite get back, but nobody coming in. And instead, it's a goal kick for Cerritos. Now moving in, coming up on the 85th minute. So Cerritos with a little scare, but they're back up 2 goals, trying to salt this one away against a game Folsom Lake Falcon squad. Got themselves behind early, but fought the whole way and even got themselves back within 1 goal at a point. Villalobos has that one chipped away. Tracked down by Whitmore on the far side. Hernandez tries to chip it in. The ball is loose. Fought for. On the far side. Won by Folsom Lake. Chip to midfield. Torres was in the area, but Cerritos has it back. Sent out of play. Two goals for Jaramillo. And the big one by De Leon. Here in the second half. And it's 3-1. Cerritos continues to work it up the far side. Now they'll have a throw in. just outside the goal box on the far side. Whitmore launches. Cleared out. It's a good move on the far side. Whitmore streaking, but has it poked away on the slide. And this will be awarded to Folsom Lake. So we'll have another substitution for Folsom Lake. Cerritos, the 4-time defending state champion, trying to advance to another state championship game, I should say. And they are a few minutes away as they work in the 87th minute. Hernandez, or I should say Whitmore, sending that one in. And that gets by everybody. So it'll go to Aubrey Hall, who will bring it back in. Velasquez keeps it alive for Cerritos. Villalobos drops a pass. Hard drive on the far side. Ball still loose, fought for. One-timer, blocked out front. Ballesteros circles right, now tries to come back, but lost it on the end line. Miller drops it off. Kettridge, who's checked in, leaves it for O'Donnell, centering pass. Broken up, but a whistle will give it back, and a free kick for Folsom Lake. Coming up after this one, we'll quickly recap and then sign off very briefly before rejoining you for the start of Game 3. Again, we have all 4 games today on SoCalCollegeSports.com. So we're here all day and night. Coming up on halfway through this one, and it's been a good start. Terrific game in Game 1, the men's semifinal. Mount Sac advancing on penalty kicks over Taft, and here the defending champion Cerritos College gets a little scare in the second half, but looks as though they are going to outlast Folsom Lake and move on to the final as well, as we're in the 89th minute. Fisher sends it outside for Neal. Drops the far sideline. Centering pass. Folsom Lake looking for one more opportunity. Tried to send it across to Miller. The one-timer out front. That one lobbed wide of the mark. Well, I think for Folsom Lake at this point, it's any ball you can get going in the direction of the net. Have to hope for a near miracle here as we're in extra time. And Folsom Lake needs 2. Ballesteros on the near sideline. Loses it out of bounds as Miller blocks it out of play. And again, Folsom Lake content to send that one out of bounds. Garcia. And it's Jacobs who will handle the throw-in. For Cerritos. It'll be their 22nd win on the season against just 1 loss and 1 tie. And the scary thing is, in recent years, they've been even better in the regular season. This is a program that has really dominated women's soccer here in the 3C2A for the last several years under head coach Ruben Gonzalez. As Messersmith checks back into the game, centering pass. Nobody home. Folsom Lake sends it back out. Velasquez has her pass sent back. One-timer lobbed in. Back at midfield. Folsom Lake trying to set up one more charge. Miller has it tipped out of play by Hernandez. Trent will handle the throw in. Toward the box, nobody home. Now a loose ball in front. Torres with a goal! Mishandled in the box. Karina Torres in extra time. How big is the goal by De Leon? Well, it looked for a moment like it was only blue jerseys in the box, but Torres, ever alert, kept fighting, managed to get in there, poke that ball free, and then converted, slipping it past Nichols. 3-2. Here in extra time. Messersmith chips it toward the far side. Folsom Lake with a couple of goals here in the second half. They never stop fighting. But Cerritos College holding on. And now at this point just trying to last out extra time. We'll have a free kick for Cerritos. It'll be Jacobs. Jacobs from 45 yards out. Sends it down the far side. Centered. And that will do it. So Folsom Lake runs out of time. And they fall here to Cerritos 3-2 in the first women's semifinal. We'll step aside very briefly, wrap things up here for game number 2. It's the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championships here on SoCalCollegeSports.com, brought to you by Joe Cap Realty. In semifinal number 1 here of the Soccer Championships on SoCalCollegeSports.com, Cerritos College outlasts Folsom Lake College. I think that's an accurate representation. 3-2, the final score, as Folsom Lake mounts to come back in the second half, but falls a little short, runs out of time. But I think you got to give a lot of credit to Cerritos College. They take care of business here in the first round, despite a very game effort from Folsom Lake.
Yeah, Folsom Lake dominated through much of that game, down 2-0. They finally get on the board late in the second half. They put one in stoppage time, but Exactly right. Too little, too late. But I'm very impressed with the defensive resolve from Folsom Lake. You talked about 430 minutes plus, not
Yeah.
having allowed a goal coming into the state championships and going up against one of the, if not the best teams in the state in Cerritos. And Carolina Yaramillo, pretty good.
Yeah, as advertised.
Yeah.
And it was Natalie De Leon with the big goal in the second half that represents the difference, ends up being the difference maker in that one. We've talked a lot about Cerritos College and what their run has been with the 6 championships in recent years, 4 in a row. Just one more word about Folsom Lake and where they came from. Just joined the Big 8 Conference this year, tied for the top. Atop that Big 8 Conference and a run to the Final Four. So a fantastic season comes to a
Not
close
bad.
here today, and a great program obviously going there in Folsom Lake as well.
And a shout out, how about Audrey Hall? Very, very impressed in a losing effort. You know, she allows 3 goals, but those are very tough goals to defend against.
Yeah,
against a very
one
good
comes
team.
on a penalty kick, and
Exactly.
So it's
But
yeah.
all throughout, I thought a very, very good effort in net today for Folsom Lake in the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. Turning our attention now to where we're going. We have Game 3 coming up. That'll be at 4 o'clock.
We're not going anywhere.
As it goes back, yes, we will be right here. Men's semifinal action will return to the men's bracket. Mount Sac advanced earlier today. Who they will play, that's what's going to be decided at 4 o'clock. We got Oxnard and Fresno City College. Should be a fantastic matchup. The top seed in the north, the defending state champion from the south. So I think safe to say a pick'em game there, and we'll have to see how that turns out. That is Game 3 of 4 today. We will also have the second women's semifinal. That'll come up at 7 o'clock tonight. But rejoin us here at 4 o'clock as we will have Oxnard and Fresno City College for you. For Mike Cepeda, I am Jeff Stoyno. For everybody here involved in SoCalCollegeSports.com, we'll see you at 4 o'clock. So long, everybody.